This is Test J, Section 2, Question 5. A scientist says Earth's average annual temperature has increased by about 0.5 degrees Celsius over the last century. This warming is primarily the result of the buildup of minor gases in the atmosphere, blocking the outward flow of heat from the planet. Okay, so none of this is like really news to me. I think I kind of understand how greenhouse gases, global warming works in real life. It's okay, by the way, that I know things in real life. You might have heard that like you're supposed to eliminate all outside knowledge. That's not true. You're supposed to be a normal, smart, educated person. So, you know, stuff like this, we go, yeah, okay, I get it. What about it? This is fun facts about global warming. I don't see any argument here, so this is probably going to turn out to be a must-be-true question or a supported question. The question says, which one of the following, if true, would count as evidence against the scientists' explanation of Earth's warming? Okay, so it was I was wrong. It turns out to be a weekend question. So what is the scientists' explanation of Earth's warming? The scientists said, as a fact, Earth has warmed by about 0.5 degree Celsius over the last century. The scientists' explanation for this is the buildup of minor gases in the atmosphere. The question has asked us to attack that causal reasoning. There's a wide range of possible answers here. My first thought is just an alternate cause. Like, what if any other thing is known to have caused this increase in heat? What if it's because our politicians never shut up and it's all the talking, all the hot air, but see now, you guys might laugh, like think, oh, that's ridiculous. But the question says, which one of the following, if true, would count as evidence against the scientist's explanation? So if it did say like, oh yeah, it's because Donald Trump never shuts up and it's he's emanating hot air and that has caused the Earth to heat. If that were one of the answer choices, that would be a perfect answer, because if that were true, that's a great alternate cause. All right, I got to go into the answers here without the world's best prediction, but I do know that I'm trying to weaken a causal relationship, and an alternate cause would be a pretty good weakener. A says, only some of the minor gases whose presence in the atmosphere allegedly resulted in the phenomenon described by the scientist were produced by industrial pollution. That's nice, but I don't care. The scientist didn't say anything about industrial pollution. The scientist named the buildup of minor gases in the atmosphere, but those could have come from cows, or they could have come from the center of the Earth, or they could have come from consumer pollution. Industrial pollution has nothing to do with it. It does not change the scientist's argument at all. It's not even addressing the scientist's argument. B, most of the warming occurred before 1940, while most of the buildup of minor gases in the atmosphere occurred after 1940. Okay, I had no way of predicting that answer, but if it's true that the warming happened before the buildup of gases, then how is it possible that the buildup of gases caused the warming? It's not possible. B is a really bad fact for this scientist. That's why B is going to be the answer for this weekend question. C says, over the last century, Earth received slightly more solar radiation in certain years than it did in others. So, what's that have to do with whether the buildup of minor gases caused the increase in temperature? Slightly more solar radiation in certain years than in others? C would be a much better answer if it said something like much more solar radiation since in the last 40 years, or since 1940. All C says is slightly more in some years than others, which indicates up and down, which certainly isn't an alternate cause. D, volcanic dust and other particles in the atmosphere reflect much of the sun's radiation back into space before it can reach Earth's surface. Don't care. Doesn't have anything to do with whether a buildup of gases has caused global warming. E, the accumulation of minor gases in the atmosphere has been greater over the last century than at any other time in Earth's history. I don't see that as a weakener. If anything, that might actually be a strengthener. We know that there's been an increase in temperature. E says, yeah, there's been a buildup of gases, a big buildup of gases. I don't see that as a weakener at all. I'm going to pick B here because it's the only one that, if true, weakens the argument.